My culture growing up. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up on NSYNC and the Spice Girls. I was born and raised in Yukon, Oklahoma. I have always spoken English. I have a very close knit, large family. We all have lived within a 30-minute radius of each other forever. Family has always been a priority. We all love to spend time together and to be invested in each other's lives. I have good parents who work hard and who raised me to be respectful, thoughtful, and independent. When I was younger, I would have never said I lived with multicultural surroundings. I graduated with 600 other students. We had about 10 people from each minority group. I did not grow up with a lot of outside cultural influences. However, I did love to travel. My family traveled. We would drive all over the country to visit extended family, to sightsee, and to experience new places. When I was 15, we visited Mexico. We stayed on a resort and laid around on the private beach. My favorite part of the trip was when we took a Jeep tour and made a stop in a little bitty town. There were no other tourists there. I loved seeing the homes, the children playing, and the men sitting on the porch talking. This was real Mexico. Even though I would say I didn't have a lot of outside cultural influences, I was always curious about them. I loved to see how others lived, what their lives were like. Other than traveling, I have always loved children. I have several young children in my family, and I have worked in childcare since I was 16. Church has always been a huge part of my life. I was the child who begged her parents to let her attend youth group and summer camp. Jesus has always been a passion of mine. I want to serve him. To me, my culture seemed very normal, and I thought I shared the same culture with the majority of others. I moved to Costa Rica to become a missionary. Costa Ricans speak Spanish. My life changed drastically. During any given day, I prayed constantly, ate my meals with strangers, fed the hungry, washed my feet multiple times a day, surrounded myself with missionaries, taught English classes, carried children on my back, missed my family, built relationships, and constructed homes. I could see pain and pure beauty everywhere. My life and the culture around me was so different than anything I had ever expected. I was now a minority. Caucasian redheads do not exist in Costa Rica. Costa Rican culture is so different from my original culture. Most families live with multiple generations. When entering a room, individuals greet each other separately. You greet strangers and close friends with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Most families are very large and community is a priority. Neighbors are close. They help each other out when someone is in need. Costa Ricans call themselves ticos and categorize everyone by their nationality. They address people as the given name for that nationality, and it is not seen as racist, but just as a fact of who you are. Feeding people is truly a love language most people in Costa Rica possess. Fresh produce is a must, and the weekly farmers market is a social affair. Costa Rica is known to be the happiest country in the world. This is the country's catchphrase. I have seen the not so happy side of Costa Rica, where children are abused and raped by their loved ones, where 12-year-old girls being pregnant is a common occurrence, where the disabled are left to beg on the street and survive on their own. Costa Rica claims to be the happiest country, and some days it is difficult to imagine the country being the happiest. But there is something unique about the idea of living a stress-free life. Pura vida is a very common phrase that means pure life. It is similar to YOLO, but with a much deeper meaning of how life goes on and all will be well. Costa Rican culture may be completely different than the culture I grew up with, but now that I have lived there and been a part of this culture and embraced it, I have melded two cultures into one. My current culture is uniquely mine. I hold a lot of traditions my family has held for years. I cherish every moment I spend with them, knowing our time together is precious. I try to build community wherever I go. I may live alone, but I am always hosting gatherings, game nights, study groups, or hanging out with my neighbors. The people around me are a little more important now. I strive to help others. This has always been a passion of mine, but now I seek it out a little bit more. I love to cook. I always have, but my signature dishes have changed. I used to make everything into a sandwich, but now I make tacos a couple nights a week. I eat more fresh foods than I ever would have before. When greeting a close friend, I hug them a little tighter, but thankfully refrain from kissing them. I always try to greet people individually because I do not want them to feel left out or unimportant to me. I enjoy sharing food, music, and artwork of my beloved Costa Rica. Costa Rica has become a part of me that will never leave. It is difficult to separate what is Costa Rican and what I originally would have been. I am now just me, a culture all my own.